Welcome back to this podcast, the SevenJackpots Podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about everything that is about online gambling in India. And today we are going to go deeper into our casino reviews, which are the ones that we already have on our website. It's a big part of our website. A little bit about how they're made, what the purpose of them are, what they do for us, and what they can do for you as a player. But I'm thinking that we could start a little bit with introductions about ourselves, because if you haven't seen the previous video that we made, the introduction video, which we will link below in the description of this video, I can think that we can maybe introduce ourselves a little bit, like super brief. So maybe I can start. I'm Felicia. I'm the editor-in-chief of SevenJackpots.com, which means that I'm handling basically all of the written content on the site. I'm doing a lot of editing, proofreading, and also writing a lot of stuff. So most of the casino reviews on site currently are created by me. Matthias, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I'm the managing director, if you will, and my role is a little bit of the spider in the net. I do a little bit of everything. I make sure that we have a relevant content roadmap, that all the team members that we have are working and are aligned towards that roadmap. I'm also involved in the commercial aspect of our business, which is something we're going to discuss later today when we talk about the casino reviews and our partnership with the operators that we promote and write about on our site. So that's me in short.
And I am Svilen. I'm the research guy. Basically, I try to make sense of data and statistics for pragmatic purposes that users would understand, and see behind the scenes how things work, and that's about it.
So I thought that in order to give some context in terms of what we're going to talk about, a good idea can be to just share some numbers with you guys. So if we look at the number of people who have visited our site, read the review written by you, Felicia, and then clicked on a link to an operator for the whole year. So the total numbers of unique users who have done that this year is 150,000. So that's quite a lot, given that we are early into October. And if you look at the split of those users, so out of those 140,000 clicks, 60% of those have clicked on a lot operator, while 40% have clicked on a casino operator. And if you look at the most popular operator in terms of where people have clicked, Casino Days is by far the most popular, stand for around 60% of the total clicks from the casino vertical. And if you look at the Lotto vertical, it's primarily Lottoland that stands for the majority of the chunk of the clicks. That could be, though, due to us having them higher up in the list. So we shouldn't pay too much attention to the most popular ones, to be fair.
Well, there's a reason why they're at the top, right? You
Exactly.
have to be good to be there.
That's interesting, though, since if you listen to the first episode when we introduced ourselves, both you and me, Felicia, we have a background working with this for a very long time, and we have focused on the European market before we started in India. And historically, when you look at the split between how many clicks each users or the users in total, where they decide to click on the site, the amount of clicks is usually spread across several brands, while in India it seems like the users prefer to click on the first brand or the second one. So I'm not sure if this is due to the market being a bit immature, but it is a different in terms of the user behavior, I would say.
That's really cool. It's interesting.
Well, it's also, these numbers are also, like I would prefer looking at it, they're also data-based and culture-based, because you said that more people click on lottery because lottery is always legal where it comes from. Historically, it's been legal in half of the states, and some of the other states also allow it. And people see it as a traditional way of gaming for money, and there's little to review about lottery because it's you take your ticket and you wait for the draw. So it's about transition and not so much about gaming diversity. While we concentrate most of our reviews on the casinos because it's they have a number of games and categories that people need to understand how they work, and but that's why they automatically click on lottery and they read the reviews to get more info on that.
Exactly. And that's also why the casino reviews themselves are so important, because without casino reviews and us actually giving people the answer, saying that these are the top casinos or the top lotteries that we think you should play at, or we think you should look at further, it would be just complete lawless country of just click on any kind of online casino that's available when you search for online casino. So that's a big thing that we're doing is that we're just collecting all this information and collecting all this data and giving our expert opinion on what is actually a good casino to play at, what is a secure casino to play at, and where can you get an overall good experience. And I think that that's part of why our casino reviews are so important for people. Because it's hard to just go around and try to find things on your own online.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And to add some data to back that up, in general, our users stay on the review page for over 2 minutes. So basically, they land on that page either from Google or if they clicked on that page through navigation on our site, and they stay on the review page for 1 minute and 58 seconds in general, if you look at all the reviews. So that just speaks for itself in terms of the importance of having the reviews. There are a lot of valuable information that you can get there.
Yeah, and I think that
we're
people
going to dig into that.
Yeah. Because I think that people are curious and people actually want to know. They want to make a good decision on where they're gonna, put their actual real money online. So I think that what we're doing with the casino reviews is important, and that's also why we need to make sure that they're actual honest reviews, not just marketing for a casino. So
because it's not only safety and reputation about the casinos. It's all those features that you expect to find it when you walk into an online casino, and who has the most games, who has the best slot, the most recent game providers, and it's not license and security and financial transparency is essential, of course, but everything else that you can think about such a platform is has value to users.
Yeah, and it's for us, for example, we've been working with the European market for years. It's almost like a guarantee that wherever you go, wherever kind of casino you go into, it's going to have a license. It's going to be encrypted. It's going to have a certain level of security. But that's one of the biggest issues in India, is that as soon as you get to the selection of these casinos that are available, no matter if you find them online or if someone recommends them to you through WhatsApp or whatever it might be, you might just end up on a site that's completely unregulated and that has just complete, it's just a scam where you have no security at all with, what happens to any of the money that you put in. So I think that it's really important for us to also kind of work as a means of education to just make people understand that this is what a good casino looks like. This is what a bad one looks like. So that people can make an educated choice on what they want to do.
It's good that you bring that up, because I think that's something that we would like to start this episode about. So the first thing is, and I can ask both of you, and especially you, Felicia, do we allow anyone to be on our site, or do we have any type of criteria in terms of who is allowed to be present on our site? Do we have any specific criteria that we look at? Because you mentioned the European market and regulation. India is not a regulated market, so there is a huge difference there. So maybe you can share your thoughts around that. I think it's a good starting point.
it's quite clear that, for example, if you look at other affiliate sites that focus on European markets, they might have a very extensive list of online casinos. Like they might have reviews for hundreds, sometimes thousands of casinos. And that's because the market is so available, so that you have a lot of these licensed casinos to choose from. They also might have lower criteria than us. I don't really know that they actually review more of them. But for us, we wouldn't review a casino that doesn't have a license. First of all, that's like the biggest first thing that we look at, is that if a casino does not have a license or they can't properly prove that their license is valid, then their chances of ending up on our casino, on our website, is pretty much zero. And
where do you know, for a player, where do you find if a casino is licensed or not if you visit the website?
Like 99% of the time, you would find it in the very bottom of the page. So it will say either MGA, or it will say Curacao, it can say Gibraltar or some other license that they have. The important part about that is that usually the icon for the little license is clickable. So you can usually click on that one, and that will give you a very specific, dynamic website that updates, that shows that their license is valid. So that's kind of like the most common way to see if a casino has a license. Sometimes they will only have their license number in the bottom of the page. In rare occasions, they will have their license information in the terms and conditions, where you basically have to take the licensing number, then go to the licensing website and enter their number to confirm that they have a valid license, basically. So it is a bit of work that you might not want to do before you start playing.
That's for sure. And we can start with, how the process of things work. So something that I usually do, and this is quite entertaining, we get a lot of requests from brands, and they usually come from a person who works obviously at the brand, and their job title is affiliate manager. So something that I always find very amusing is to go to LinkedIn, search for the brand, and when you click on the LinkedIn profile, obviously familiar with LinkedIn, you have a tab called persons or employees. And if you click there, you can actually look at all the employees who work for that company. You can search by title. And affiliation is such a huge part for most operators, and most brands that are quite big. They have at least 10 to 15 people working in that department solely. And their main job is basically to reach out to guys like ourselves and create deals and negotiate and try to buy traffic from us. So in industry terms, we, SevenJackpots, are affiliates, and the operators have affiliate managers or a head of affiliates, and their job is to reach out to guys like us and basically buy traffic or negotiate deals with us. So we promote them and also sending traffic. So that's the first part. And we don't need to be too technical, but basically how we make money is that we have something called rev share, which means that all the traffic that we send to an operator, when you guys play and when you lose or win, we get a commission from the operator, and that's called rev share. And that's basically the commercial model of our industry in general. So going back to what you said about us being quite picky, we have in our top lists 8 casinos that we promote or review. And I think this year we have received over 60 or 75 requests from various operators that want to work with us. But we are very picky in terms of who we decide to work with, and that's for good reasons, obviously.
That's the whole idea about affiliation marketing. It's become very big in many digital sectors. It's anything you can think about, even Amazon and other tech giants. That's what they do. They rely on people who actually take the product, test it, and write about it, and try it out and give feedback in various ways, and then people read it and check out the services and the products, and so that's how trust is built. If the online community agrees that something is good and valid, you won't see bad reviews, and this is bringing down affiliation to a consumer point of view. but we like to do it on an expert level, because we're talking about indicators and feedbacks and technical process. So it's not anybody just sitting down and streaming their gaming experience. We talk about industry stuff that can be useful for people.
So maybe you, Felicia, can, since you're the editor-in-chief and you do most of the reviews, our process in terms of how we rate and review casinos, maybe you can give some more flavor in terms of the basic stuff that you think is important to share with our players.
Yeah, absolutely. So in order for us to be able to look at every casino that we review and actually give them like as unbiased and fair review as possible, it's been very important for us to look at them using the same lens or using the same kind of process every single time. That makes sure that we're not missing any information, or that we are giving certain things more attention than other things. So we have created this process for creating these casino reviews. And these are things that we are using then when we are ranking our casinos. So just to give a little bit of a background from that is that on our website, we have this rating system where we actually rank casinos from 1 to 5, where 5 is the best and 1 is the worst. And when we look at casinos, we do look at a number of different things to create a full review. So one of the things that we look at is signing up. It has to be really, really easy to sign up to a casino. We don't want to have to spend 15 minutes trying to make a profile and being able to log in, because there is no one who has time or even, the attention span to do that, especially if you're playing from your mobile, which most people do. So that has to be really, really easy. Payments is another huge thing that is really, really important in deciding if it's a good casino or a bad casino, essentially. Because in India, historically, online casinos have been very, very tricky to access because of their lack of payment methods. So only a couple of years ago, some of the only payment methods that you could use were basically like credit cards. And a lot of banks in India are not allowing for gambling transactions, which made it impossible to make transactions online to online casinos and gambling sites. So payments is really important, with a lot of new payment methods that have come up that are a lot more user-friendly for people, like Paytm, Google Pay, UPI, PhonePe, and even crypto in some instances. It's a little bit more tricky to use crypto still, though, because it's hard. It's a bit of a steep learning curve to understand how crypto works from that point of view. But that's a big, big thing. Like a casino will have a difficulty getting a 5-star review with us if they don't have any of these newer methods.
You're listing all these essential features about trusting a casino and going through the process, because you do actually go through the whole process from signing up to depositing to opening a game. And we've researched all these aspects, and in between of the whole review, you could see quotes or data points, highlights from our research. For example, if you have a Samsung or Xiaomi, you would prefer if you download the app, or you might have problems with the UPI or with a card. But that's important because people can actually see that is that a technical problem? Is that a user experience problem? And we actually test the apps and the casinos on the ground. We do the field tests, and then we show that the pop-up window might be slow to load, but that's okay because their customer support is superior. So you have all these highlights from the case studies that we provide within your research, within your reviews, and then you could see them quoted in between of your words, and so you can actually understand that we actually did this, went through the whole process.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that, we take kind of a lot of pride in, that we actually do all these things. We do it for real. We do sign up, we do deposit, we do play, which is fun for me, because I get to do a lot of fun stuff on casinos.
Yeah, you get to play.
You get to play.
And obviously the games are, I think like in relation to payments, the games are probably the next big thing that is important for a casino. If a casino doesn't have games, then, I mean, what are you doing there? So we are looking at the games, not just how, I mean, a lot of casinos think that the more games you have, the better. But a lot of times they fail in the sense that they are using games from maybe providers that don't really deliver that many good games. So what we're looking at is that they should have a decent amount of games, absolutely. But that they should come from like good, well-known providers that are known in the industry for creating really, really good games and good entertainment. And not just that, but that they have to be the game providers themselves also have to be licensed. So they have to be, legitimate and be sure to use, auditors to make sure that their games are safe and secure and that they are fair as well. In India, it's super important to have live casino games, because live casino is, so far, it's still the biggest chunk of, like, the biggest vertical. I mean, betting is probably a bit higher, I think, but after that comes live casino, and then slots and normal like slot casino games are kind of on the rise, but live casino is still super important. So, for example, if a casino has Evolution games, the games from game provider Evolution or Azugi, that's always like a good sign that it's going to be a good brand.
Something that I think is worth mentioning also is that obviously we have our own rating system that are based on certain criteria, and some of them you just shared, but we also have our own users who obviously register on our site and give their own reviews. And I think, I don't have the numbers in my head, but I think on an average there are around 100 players who signs up on 7Jackpots, and so far not that many have given reviews, to be fair, but we have a few reviews on all casinos, and I think that's a huge part of what we're trying to achieve here as well. We want to build a community where our users, our players can go in and share their own experience while they're playing. This is obviously key and crucial for us as well to get that feedback. So guys, if you haven't signed up, do that, and please share your experience with us. It's super important.
Yeah, because while we have our own reviews of casinos, the player or the user reviews will be separate from that. So we will be able to see our review result, and then we will be able to see the review result of what you guys think about the casino as well. So those might differ. We don't know, but it's a good indicator for people to see what we think from an expert point of view and what people think from a casual player point of view. But yeah, so if you want me to continue on the on the review criteria, another thing that's super important is customer support, because customer support is, you never know when you're going to need help on a casino, and it could be anything, and it's never a bad thing to be able to reach out to customer support. So I would prefer that a casino has a 24/7 customer support. A main reason for this is because most casinos are still located, like physically located in Europe somewhere, which means that if they don't have 24/7 customer support, their support will be based on CET time, which is a bit inconvenient for Indian players because it's a 4.5 hour time difference. So that would be optimal. And obviously live chat is always like super appreciated. I always use live chat when I'm testing casinos, and it's a great way to just get like instant assistance with support. And the support team needs to be good at their job. They need to be able to help you, because that's not at all a guarantee with some casinos where you have where I would be able to solve a problem better than what their customer support would, which is obviously not ideal.
How would you say, comparing our industry, the casino industry, and specifically live chat, how good are we in the industry in general compared? Because the reason why I'm asking is I had some issues with my delivery for 2 days ago. You can obviously chat directly with the guy who delivers the food, which is great. But if you want to make a complaint, or if you have any feedback, and when you go to Deliveroo's app and you try to chat with your customer support, and I've seen this a lot lately, especially in the last 6 to 12 months, most websites, and this is for Spotify also, which is super weird, they have a FAQ. So you can't actually chat with someone. It took me 10 minutes to navigate in the FAQ, both for Spotify and Deliveroo, which is huge in Europe, at least in Ireland where I'm based. So is it easy, would you say, to get in touch with an operator using the live chat, or have they hidden that function in the FAQ sections as well, in general?
I would say that in general, the live chat is quite available. Mostly, like either they have a little thing in the bottom of the website, like a little bubble, a speech bubble that you can just click. Or there is like this section within the FAQ that's called Contact Us, and then you just have all the options for contacting. I have come across a few casinos where the only way that you can get to the live chat or any kind of communication with them is if you go into the FAQ, you click on a question, then that question has a question that says, "Did this help you?" Then you have to click no, and then you get the option to talk to them, which is not ideal at all. But most of them are actually pretty good, especially with live chat, because I think that it's pretty obvious that that's the quickest way to resolve most issues that don't require like attaching anything like documents or photos or stuff like that. But even there, like I've had situations where I have seen completely wrong information on an Indian casino for a promotion, and I was able to attach screenshots to the live chat showing them like I'm not getting the rupee offer on this promotion. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to fix that. And then they actually resolve that very quickly. So I think that it works. There are just really few instances where it doesn't. But that's obviously also like mentioned and reflected in our reviews then, if their support isn't up to standard.
This is a feature which is really important to players, but I can also talk about it in terms of how the market is still underdeveloped. And when we mean mature, we mean most about we talk about awareness of how important it is to provide quality to support to the consumer. Take the player as a consumer, and if you want to give them quality and security, you make everything transparent, legal, and regulated. That's why most European markets and most American and Australian have their own local support in terms of customer service, while casinos available in India are now starting to get games based on local culture and interest in festivals and during high times of the year, and the development studios, the game studios that are working on them are starting to put in some more graphic images that represent Indian culture and the whole ideas within the games. But we're still missing customer support in anything other than English, because the market is very sensitive about putting it out there that you work with Indian customers. And if they had the license and the ability to openly cater for Indian customers, you would have more casino sites have not only the games and the interface in local languages, but you would also have the customer support based within India, and you would have support in Bengali, Telugu, of course Hindi first of all, but this is something that the market has to work on and has to get approval from authorities as well. So we expect that to happen soon, but so far you can only get the platform working in several 5 or 6 languages, some of them, but not the customer support yet, which is only in English.
Yeah, that's definitely an important part.
Yeah, for sure. Before we summarize everything with some conclusions and maybe some data points that are worth pointing out, is there anything else in the process, Felicia, that you feel that you want to highlight that we missed, or have we covered most of it?
I think I've covered most. I would say that just quickly that obviously the app thing is a little bit like a divider, where, we do review apps as well. So a lot of people like to download apps, especially on Android phones. But I think that it's important to point out that although a casino might have an app or not, today, like, websites are so mobile optimized that, like, at the end of the day, you don't need to download an app if you don't want to. Like, you could absolutely just play the casino from a website, and you're pretty much not going to notice any difference from playing on a downloaded app. So that's one of the things. We've already touched on the security and the licensing, so I'm not going to go into that again. But another thing that I think is important for these casinos that are available in India is responsible gambling, because a lot of, like, that's a big issue, especially when you look at kind of the opinions about gambling in India in general. The opinions is that gambling is dangerous, and that people destroy their lives, and that they commit suicide from gambling, and that gambling is very, very addictive. And that's absolutely, in many unfortunate cases, it is true. But I do believe that it is very, very important that there is a safety net for if you want to gamble responsibly. And that's where the casinos have a very, very big responsibility to provide, like, a foundation where you can utilize certain tools and also learn more about how problem gambling actually works, so that you can, like, see these signs yourself if you gamble and you notice that you are maybe spending more time than you should, or you're spending more money than you should. So that's one of the things that I really look at, and I put a lot of weight into, that a casino needs to take the responsibility on providing responsible gambling tools and assistance to their players. And then, lastly, I have almost 10 years of experience within the online gambling industry. At the end of the day, if a casino doesn't feel right, if something just feels wrong, then we might not review it, or it's not going to get a good end rating from us, because it just something feels off.
We should probably do an entire episode on responsible gaming policies and responsible gambling. What is it? How it actually works? What it does for players? How the platform enforces it technically, with all these limitations in times and deposit limits, and I think we have a lot to say about that topic.
That's for sure. I think you made a very good point, Felicia, and I definitely agree with you, Sweden, and especially reading all the articles coming out from various newspapers in India, and also see, obviously we are aware of that. We read comments from politicians, etc., about addiction and everything that comes with it. I think it's a super important topic, and I can just end that by saying that, given our experience working for LeoVegas, one of the biggest operators in Europe, as a brand, a company, and I think this goes for everything, you want to have sustainable revenues coming from healthy customers instead of having these problem players, because it's not good for anyone. It's purely talking from a business point of view to allocate so much time and resources into this. It's not good for anyone. So, of course, it's important for us also. I definitely think it's a sensible and reasonable topic to cover. To round things up, Svilan, since you are mainly working with data points and trying to conclude and summarize things, both external and also from our internal data points, is there anything you would like to share in terms of the casino reviews that you have found in your research in the past months' works that you've done that you think is valuable to share with our players and users?
I've already said that we'd like to have people on the ground in their mobile test and go through the whole experience of playing on a given casino, besides what Felicia does from an expert point of view. So we have a case study on how the leading 5 mobile brands interact with the 5 top listed casinos that we have on the site, and you can find that and read about how well the actual casinos handle all these the main aspects of customer support and depositing and withdrawing and the app downloading. So we do give this information from a player point of view, but I think we're about to launch a survey on the site very soon that we need to collect more information about how people feel about interacting with customer support. Not the ones that actually tested these casinos for us, and not based on the big aggregate data that we have, but we want actual input from people to verify what we've already found about safety, about user experience, about responsible gaming. I'm sorry. So we're constantly gathering new data, and we're putting it in between the technical stuff that we speak about the casinos. So everything we do is based on data and on actual experience, and everything we review is based on hard data and on subjective experience. So you get the best of both worlds in that.
Nicely put. We will add a link to that case study that you referred to down in the comment of the bio, so we have that one also. Okay, nice. I would like to thank everyone who listened, and see you soon, hopefully within a few weeks' time. We aim to produce episodes on I wouldn't say weekly basis, but if we have something that we feel is important to cover, we will obviously do that. So hit the subscription button, and have a good day, everyone.